Dave from CheapWineFinder.com, and we have another wine today to talk about. This one I happened to stop into Trader Joe's just to grab a few things, and one thing I noticed that this display was almost empty. I got one of the last ones. It seems to be popular, so oh, good. And what I grabbed was the Nikau Point Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc 2019. Yes, 2019. New Zealand's on the other side of the equator. Their winters and summers are reversed. So, you know, it works. 2019, it's a young, and plus it's a young wine. That's really an attractive way to have Sauvignon Blanc is right, juicy and alive. That's a grape that really does well with just minimum aging and not a lot of different technical things going on with it when they make it. Just, you know, let the grapes speak for themselves, and you know, the nose is going to be great. The flavor should be pretty good. You know, if you know what you're doing, you can come up with a really good wine, and they seem to have known what they are doing here. And I looked up Nikau Point. You know, there is a fearless flyer write-up on it, but there's also some more. And one of the weird things is that I'm not going to mention the name of the producer, because when I try to get online, because there seemed to be information about this wine, it was blocked as a malicious site, which I don't know if someone hijacked their website. They seem to be still in business. I've come in contact that before when somebody who shut down, people find out about it and they take their website and, you know, do nasty things to you if you accidentally go on that site. So I'm not going to name who this producer is. Maybe it's just a momentary thing, or maybe it's a false positive on my router, but that's that. And then there's Aldi had a Nikau Point Syrah a couple of years ago, and there was a Nikau Point Reserve Sauvignon Blanc that was around for like 10 years. I can't find anything much past like the 15 or 16 vintage, but that was from a single vineyard, actually a small portion of a single vineyard wine. And that was selling at retail stores. So this is a brand that's been in Aldi, which is sold as a store brand, and then it's been selling as a retail brand, which they don't normally do because that gets confusing. I also saw that they were selling like 500 hectares, which I guess they're a heck of an acre. I'm not sure what hectares are, but they're selling 500 in Hawke's Bay, so they're selling off land. So is this a distress sale that Trader Joe's managed to grab some, you know, wine from somebody who need to make, you know, generate some cash? Is this actually just a regular young Sauvignon Blanc that shouldn't cost too much? Is it more expensive and just they got a deal? I don't know, but it tastes good. It tastes real good. And I'm going to take a sip because it's one of those bright, juicy, alive Sauvignon Blancs, and that's the style I like the best. You know, you can get Sauvignon Blanc like in Bordeaux, where they add a little Semillon, and you can age those things for 25, 30 years. They're amazing, but I don't get them very often. No one's offering them to me, and when I get the young one, if I like the young ones enough, there's no reason to go get the other ones, so I would like to try that. So the young Sauvignon Blanc is a very, very attractive style of wine. I'm going to take a sip. It's got solid flavors. Really, it's grapefruit mixed with maybe peach. So just when the grapefruit starts to get tart, the peach kind of cools that out. And it's got some lemon and some lime, but the lemon's kind of rounded a little bit, so it's not lemon lime. It's not tart. There's a lot of nice flavors going on there. There's juicy apple, and then there's that you get the Anlis thing, which is maybe a little bit of nutty cashew and some salty things going on. And yeah, it's got some nice flavors going on, and the acidity is really balanced. Young Sauvignon Blancs can be a little bit on the acidic side. You get that with Pinot Grigio too. But here they've got it under control. I mean, it's just there. It's really nice. And then there's also some, it's like almost like tone on top of tone. There's flavors on top of the flavors. There's hints of flavors. that are there, which is really kind of nice and really unexpected in a $5.99 wine. They're not really noticeable. It's when you take your time, you take your sip, and you kind of think about what you're drinking. You see that they're there. If you're just sipping with friends and talking, you're going to miss most of the things in the wine, especially the nuances. But this wine has some nuances, and that's $5.99 wine, which is one of the great things about Trader Joe's. You never know what you're going to find. And I guess that the display was almost empty of wines. People found out about it. I think sometimes I try to get on the cutting edge of Trader Joe's and maybe try to point the way. It looks like they put it the way to me this time. And I'm going to take another sip before I go on, because this is just an inexpensive Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, from Marble. Marble is the top part of the South Island. That's where almost all the wine coming out of New Zealand comes from. It's got a lot of bays and crags and rocky ends, and there's cold winds and Pacific Ocean breezes. It works well for wine, and it's just a great place. And I don't know where this comes from. I don't know if this is contracted vineyards. I don't know if it's contracted vineyards and estate vineyards. There was an estate vineyard one. It says estate bottled. Estate bottled doesn't mean anything. That's where you find bottling plants on estates. If you're going to, it just means they bottled it. Doesn't mean much else. But you don't always get a lot of information on these wines, but it's $5.99, and I don't see much difference between this and your typical $10, $12 Sauvignon Blanc you find on store shelves. Except this one's maybe has better acidity. Its acidity is really, really swollen, this one. And it's got a great nose. It's got a great flavor profile. It's $5.99. This is no issues. This isn't, it's okay. It's $5.99. I can accept its flaws at that price. No, this is fine. There's nothing wrong with this. This tastes great. It kind of makes you wonder why you would ever spend more, except this will sell out and you can't find it. So you're going to have to spend more. But hey, that's life in Trader Joe's. So that's it for me. This is a really tasty, well-balanced Sauvignon Blanc. It doesn't have, there's flavors that used to be big. You read the wine magazines, I always talk about cat pee and stuff. It's like, I'm not having anything with cat pee in it. No, this one doesn't have cat pee, so don't worry. No cat pee. So that's it for me. Keep it cheap. We'll come up with something in a couple of days, because it's always time for wine, and that's it for me. Adios. I'll be talking to you, and over now.